This video shows how I managed to perform an ILS landing with the Coronado Twin Beech in MSFS 2020. The Twin features a Century 3 autopilot, which imposes the mental workload I am looking for in simulation. I will land on Echo Delta Mike Oscar. This is an airport in Bavaria, Germany. I will focus on handling of the Century 3 autopilot only. Concepts of VOR+DME, ILS will not be discussed. These are the controls of the autopilot. The command console switches various modes. The lateral guidance selector couples the navigational radio in various ways. A GPS is also installed in this aircraft, but I will ignore it completely. Switch it to some constant page to hide the map. Let's do it in the old-fashioned way. The autopilot has two independent channels, one for the roll, one for the pitch. The roll mode simply keeps the wings level. This mode is mandatory for all other functions, so one can consider it as master switch. The alt mode holds the altitude at which it was engaged. We can manually control the roll axis with the roll command knob. I find it useful while in holding patterns, however it is not precise as it does not compensate for wind drift. In the pitch mode we can dial in steady pitches with the pitch command wheel. This is useful for level changes. There is no thrust control, it is your responsibility to manage the engine to control the airspeeds. Let's climb 100 feet, then descent back to original altitude. The heading mode keeps the heading selected with the heading selector in the HSI. Watch out, the lateral guidance selector has to be in heading mode for this to happen. Let's fly to the east for a while, then back to north. Be advised, the heading mode does not compensate for wind drift. One will fly a constant heading, but prone to be drifted like a swimmer in a river. The Garmin GPS is the default source for navigation in this aircraft. Two visual cues for this are the GPS mark over the CDI button and the red flag on the HSI. Pressing the CDI button on Garmin switches to the mode when the autopilot is guided by navigational radio signals. Now let's find out where we are. The navigational radio 1 is already tuned to the Oscar Tango Tango VOR. We are at 20 miles distance on radial 220 from the VOR. This is just east of Lake Starnberg. I have to fly over Avica at 5,000 feet. I will fly radial 246 inbound to distance 11.8 miles. I will fly towards the radial in heading mode. I will not engage NAV mode until the CDI comes alive. The autopilot will not intercept the radial if NAV mode was engaged too early. Could not find the exact limitation in the documentation. I engage pitch mode to start a descent to 5,000 feet. I tuned up the secondary navigational radio to monitor the progress. The CDI is alive. I switch lateral guidance source from heading to navigation. Reaching the assigned altitude. The autopilot has captured radial 246. I prepare heading 025 to fly after Avica, a leg between two radials. Reaching distance 11.8 miles, switching to heading mode to be able to prepare CDI for radial 278. Need more practicing, I am still so rookie. Currently we are here. I have to start a left turn at radial 264, capture radial 278, and start a descent to 4,000 feet. I used the secondary navigational radio to observe radial 264. Reaching radial 264. CDI alive, switching to navigational lateral guidance. I prepare flying in heading mode for the moment when change of frequency and course will be due to capture the ILS slope. We are 1 mile to the turn. I should have switched to the heading mode, but was busy monitoring the altitude. This will cause haste later. Still need practicing. Reaching the assigned altitude. Changing to the ILS frequency. This is not the proper way to engage heading mode. The lateral guidance selector has to be selected first. Note, changing lateral selector popped out heading mode. ILS is alive, selecting ILS mode on lateral selector. Localizer is captured. Good. Now we expect to capture the glide slope at 7 miles distance from the runway. The autopilot can capture the glide slope automatically. There are 3 conditions. First, the ILS lateral mode has to be selected at least 20 seconds earlier. Second, the alt mode has to be engaged at least 20 seconds earlier. Third, the glide slope indicator has to be deflected upwards at least since 20 seconds. This light illuminates when the capture mode has engaged. We are almost there. Fingers crossed. Glide slope captured. I prepare for the missed approach procedure. Landing is just a bonus. I monitor the distance. The procedure says to go around if the runway is not visible from 1.1 mile. Just for demonstration purposes, I will deliberately go around. No further comments during go around. I hope you will understand my actions. This is your homework. Runway visual. Going around. This video was made in hope it would be useful for the audience. It is in no way perfect, practice is the key to success.